All right, today we're going to break down a really dangerous and frankly super confusing pattern in relationships called the hero-victim cycle. The goal here is simple: to give you the tools to spot this kind of emotional entrapment and, more importantly, get out of it before it really takes root.
You know, it all starts with this weird central conflict. You've got this person in your life who seems to be two completely different people. One day, they're your absolute savior, the person lifting you up. The next, they're blaming you, making you feel like you're the worst. It's like being on an invisible roller coaster, and it's totally designed to keep you feeling off balance.
So let me just ask you this. Have you ever felt that way? Like you are constantly walking on eggshells, where something you did is amazing one minute, and then the next it's being used as evidence of how you let them down. If that sounds even a little bit familiar, then you are in the right place.
Well, what you might be experiencing actually has a name. It's called the hero-victim loop, and it's a very specific manipulative pattern where a person flips between playing the hero, your savior, and playing the martyr, to make you feel guilty. And the goal is always the same: to create dependency and to stay in control. Just understanding the mechanics here, that's your first step to getting free.
The wild thing is, this cycle is actually pretty predictable. It follows 4 stages. First, the hero phase. That's where they save you. Then comes the trigger. That's when you do something that they don't like. That leads to the victim phase, where they blame you. And it's all held together by the trauma bond, which is the psychological glue that makes it so hard to leave. We're going to walk through every single one.
Okay, so let's dive into that first phase, the hero. This is where the whole cycle kicks off, and it's usually disguised as an act of unbelievable kindness.
So in this phase, the main tactic is to make themselves completely essential to you. They want to be your ultimate protector. Just imagine, you've got a coworker, let's call him Mark. He sees you're totally swamped, so he stays late, does half of your report, and then the next morning he brings you your favorite coffee. You didn't even have to ask. And then he says something like this: "Don't even worry about thanking me. I'm the only one in this office who actually has your back." Now it sounds so supportive, right? But that last part, that is the hook. He's not just helping, he's trying to isolate you. And that right there is the whole point. The goal isn't just to be nice, it's to create a monopoly on your gratitude. It's to make you believe that he is your only real ally, which, of course, makes you completely dependent on his heroism.
So how does that perfect hero mask slip? Well, it all comes down to one very specific kind of trigger.
The mask pretty much dissolves the second you do anything that shows independence. It could be something so small, like taking advice from a different coworker. Or maybe you set a really simple boundary, like saying, "Hey Mark, thanks, but I want to handle this next report on my own." Any action where you don't need them, that's a threat.
And their reaction is instant. You have to watch for what we call the cold shift. All that warmth just vanishes. Instead of, "Oh, okay, great," you get this weirdly quiet, clipped response. Something like, "Fine, I hope that works out for you." That chill you feel, that's the sound of them losing control. And that chill leads us right into the next phase, the victim. This is where they take every nice thing they've ever done for you and turn it into a weapon to make you feel guilty.
This phase uses a tactic called martyrdom manipulation, and it is exactly what it sounds like. They take all those wonderful, heroic things from phase 1 and they use them as ammo, basically to make you feel like a villain for just daring to be independent.
And it sounds just like this. You walk by Mark's desk and he's sighing really loudly. You ask if he's okay and he hits you with, "I guess I'm just a useful idiot to people. I give, and as soon as people get what they want, they throw me away." Boom. He's now the martyr, which automatically makes you the bad guy.
I mean, when you lay it out like this, the 2-part strategy is crystal clear. In the hero phase, the tactic is saving you, and the goal is to create dependency. Then, in the victim phase, the tactic flips to martyrdom, and the goal is to trigger your guilt. It's the same person, just wearing 2 different masks, but the goal is always control.
So this all brings up a huge question, right? If this whole hero-to-victim thing feels so confusing and just plain bad, why is it so incredibly hard to just walk away? Well, the answer is in the trap itself. It's called the trauma bond.
A trauma bond is a really powerful psychological addiction. Your brain literally gets hooked on the roller coaster. You've got these intense highs of the hero phase where you feel so seen and so cared for, and they're slammed up against these deep lows of the victim phase where you feel so guilty and awful.
You're not just confused, your brain can actually become biologically hooked on trying to get that high back.
And the symptoms of this bond are so clear when you see them. You find yourself just trying to keep the peace. You're overpraising their smallest ideas. Maybe you even buy them little gifts to apologize for something you didn't even do wrong. You're doing anything and everything to get the hero back because you were terrified of the victim phase.
But here's the most important thing to hear. You are not powerless. Now we get to the best part of this whole thing, a clear, actionable way to break the cycle and get your control back.
Okay, this is the absolute key. The entire manipulation depends on you accepting the role they've cast you in. You're the villain in their little drama. To break the cycle, you have to refuse to play the part.
So the next time they start their victim act, here's your playbook. First, you just recognize it for what it is. It's a play for guilt. Second, you stay completely calm. Do not get defensive, because that's what they want. Then, use a neutral observation. Briefly acknowledge their past help. And finally, and this is the big one, refuse to pay the guilt invoice they're trying to hand you.
Here is the exact script. You can literally use these words. When Mark tries to make you feel bad, you just calmly say, "Mark, I really appreciated the help you gave me last week, but me choosing to work with someone else today isn't a reflection of that. Both things can be true." You see? You acknowledge his feelings without accepting any of the blame. You just broke their script.
And that is the ultimate takeaway here. Understanding these psychological patterns isn't just some interesting academic thing. When you can simplify the mechanics of what's really going on, you gain this incredible power to stay in control of your own life and your own emotions. So, I'll leave you with this. Just think for a second about your own relationships, at work, at home, anywhere. Who in your life might need to hear that powerful phrase, "Both things can be true"? Your gratitude for what they did in the past can be true, and your right to be independent today can also be true.